Alright, so now we have the knot tying device. And take us through this part now. How are we going to load those tails coming out of the TAMIS port?
Okay, so the tails have been trimmed evenly. Coming out of the TAMIS port, our tie knot device has been loaded. You're making sure that you're only holding on to the white handle of the device. You don't have your fingers up on the red lever at this point because we don't want to prematurely fire it. You can either put the suture tails through yourself, or whomever is assisting you can put their fingers through, and you can present them to them and they can hold on to the suture tails. I'm just going to, here, I'll hand them to you.
You're going to hand them to me, okay.
Okay, and then we're still outside of the port.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and pull on this curved handle. Like I said, not a needle, just a blank curved handle.
And I'm holding these
And
securely.
you're holding the sutures, and now I'm going to let you let go of the sutures for me.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay, let's
All
let
right.
go of them.
What this is going to do is it acts like a French eye, and I'm going to turn it upside down so you can see what happens. I'm going to pull straight up the shaft towards me, and it's going to feed those sutures through the device.
Right.
It also fed those sutures through the titanium knot, which is in the tip of the device. And then you'll hand off that curved handle to your scrub tech at that point so they can
Which was a one-time use only. We're just going to count this off. Okay.
That's right.
So we had done our figure of 8. We brought it through using that French eye technique of bringing it through our knot tire. Okay.
We'll grab both sutures,
And that's going to go into the TAMIS port, into our target.
That's right. You're going to set the
You're pulling
tension.
back on one. Okay, yeah, you're going to set the tension. Good.
By pushing the device down, pulling back on your suture. And then when you're ready, all you'll do is squeeze the red lever firmly of the device. So I'm going to squeeze, pull on the suture, release the red lever, and then come off. And what that did was it crimped the titanium sleeve and then cut the suture, all just by squeezing the lever.
So we left a titanium knot effectively on a figure of 8 suture, and it's cut and all at once.
And that's correct. And then with TAMIS we use a 2-0 monoglide suture. After that suture absorbs, the patient will pass the titanium clip.
Okay. All right, now let's troubleshoot this then. Let's say it gets jammed, or take us through some common troubleshooting problems that we run into.
Sure. Often, like I said, the suture can work, the suturing device in both devices can work flawlessly. There's just some important things that we have to remember in techniques. One of which is making sure that we reset the suture at a 90-degree angle. By the way, this is just my demo suture. Your suture will come in a plastic suture holder and have a sheathing on it. But I'm going to intentionally do what you don't want to do, because I want to show you how to fix it. So once again, I'm just going to load this real quick just by putting the suture into the track on the distal end, putting my finger over the top, and then I'm going to hold it up nice and high so you can see what happens, kind of rotate it towards you so you can get a better view. When I pull on the suture, the ferrule will then slide into the tip because I'm pulling the suture this direction with my finger over the top. It just slid in, it clicked. I'm going to hold up the suture at a 90-degree angle, test it. If it ever sticks, okay, this is troubleshooting. If this ever sticks like this, just flick it forward. The first time you squeeze it after loading, it usually...
Flick the pink handle forward?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And usually after you load it for the very first time and you do the first squeeze to test, it usually doesn't pick it up, and that's normal. So you'll want to squeeze it again, make sure it's picking it up, and then you always want it back on the distal side. So I'm going to squeeze it again, and it's now on the distal side. What can happen when you're suturing if you don't reset at a 90-degree angle? Say I'm like this, and you can see how the suture is off to the side. If I were to squeeze this right now, it can jam that suture into the distal end of the device. So you never want to do that. What can also happen is if you lock it and then you tug on the suture, it can snap the suture. So for our purposes, I'm just going to cut this with scissors. And we're going to pretend that our suture either broke or wasn't reset at the proper angle.
Right. It got cut off.
Yeah.
Okay.
It got cut off.
I've been there and done that.
And that's what we want to avoid. We want this to be easy.
We don't want that.
So at this point, unless you know, they'll go to reload it and put another suture in, forgetting that that ferrule is still on the device. You can see right now it's on the needle. Okay?
All right, so we can't do that. We got to get this ferrule off.
And to get it off, it's the same way as unloading the suture. So I know it's on the needle. All I'm going to do, once again, instead of squeezing the lever the way I normally would, I'm going to hold on to the white handle, pull backwards on the pink lever, now slightly advance it, and then you can just take your finger and pull it off. And you can see that
it's right there.
It's right there. Okay, now you're able to go ahead and reload the device. But if I gotten this out and reloaded the device when I would have squeezed the pink lever, the ferrule would have still been on here and it would have gone across to the distal end and broken the device.
Just jammed, exactly.
Jam it.
Okay. And to get it the needle out halfway, you just squeeze the handle halfway.
Just halfway, that's right. Because remember, it's always advancing from the proximal side of the jaw. So just squeeze the lever just a little bit.
So that's halfway squeezing the handle, and then you just grab the ferrule and pull it off.
That's right.
And then you can still use the same device without having to open up a new one.
No, you should be able to use your device for your entire procedure.
Okay.
And if you ever get any blood or anything coagulated in the tip of the device, it's helpful to just swish the tip into maybe some saline solution that you have on the field in between loading it. Okay?
Okay.
So let me also troubleshoot with you real quick on the tie knot device. Tie knot is very easy to use. One of the things that I've seen happen is they'll go to load the device, putting the curved handle into the distal end, making sure that the titanium knot is nice and flush with the tip of the device, and then pushing this white rubber target one direction, pushing this out. And then I always say give the curved handle a little pull just to start it. Well, sometimes there'll be more resistance and someone will pull too hard and they'll pull and they're like, oh no, can I reuse it? No, you can only use it once. And then they'll go to reload it and they're going to notice that the curved handle won't go in. They'll be like, oh my gosh, the device is broken. What's wrong with it? Well, there's nothing wrong with the device, but that titanium knot is still in the tip, and you have to get that out before you can put your next one in. So to do that, and this is the only time a scrub tech will ever squeeze the red lever of our device, we're going to squeeze the red lever firmly.
Okay, let's review for a second. So we had passed it through all the way, right? You're saying that we just accidentally passed this through all the way. And what happened when you did that?
When we did that, you'll notice that there is no longer the titanium sleeve, the titanium knot on that quick load, because it's now in the tip of the device. You can see what it looks like.
What's keeping it on when we normally do it with a suture then, or why would it be jammed in there? Is it jammed in there?
No, it's not jammed. We just have to remove it before we would go to reload it with the next one because you can see it's still in there. Okay, so this is only troubleshooting.
Right, this is troubleshooting. We had a problem with it and it just got stuck in there, right?
Yeah, we went to give the curved handle a little pull to start it before we would hand it off and use it. And we accidentally pulled the curved handle all the way through the device.
Okay.
So our titanium knot is still in there. So to release it, all we're going to do is just squeeze the red lever firmly once, release it, and then just tap it on your mayo. And that titanium
knot... That's the knot that would normally go onto
the suture. That's correct. And it just pops right out. And then you're able to, at that point, go ahead and take a new quick load. And then load the device. So the example that I gave you was, they load the device, it's now flush with the tip of the device, holding onto the curved handle, popping out the white rubber target, and then you give the curved handle a little pull to start it, but they pulled too hard and they accidentally pulled it all the way through.
Leaving the knot in there. So as a reminder is that this loop not only is a way to get the suture to thread through the device, it's also applying a clip.
It's also depositing the clip into the distal tip of the device, and it's feeding the sutures through the titanium sleeve, through the clip.
Okay.
It's actually a sleeve. It doesn't go around the sutures. The sutures actually come up through it.
Yeah, it's a very clever design, actually.
It is.
Okay. All right. Any other tips?
Just remember when you're using the tie knot device and you're pulling your sutures through, to pull the curved handle straight up the shaft towards you. You don't want to pull it off to the side. If you were to do that, it can act as a sawing motion and it can shear your sutures off.
Okay.
And after you...
So can you just show us that one more time?
Sure, we'd have to, let's go ahead and load the suturing device and we can put some sutures through, and then we'll have some